On June 11th, 1844, that same day, William Law goes to Carthage, where he files charges against Joseph Smith on destruction of property and inciting a riot. The next day, Thomas Sharp over in Warsaw, who has just become vehemently against the church, publishes in his newspaper, "War and extermination is inevitable. Citizens arise, one and all. Can you stand by and suffer such infernal devils to rob men of their property and rights without avenging them?" We have no time for comment. Let's not be rational about this, by the way. Let's not be civilized. Every man must make his own. Let it be made with powder and ball. He's calling for the murder of Joseph Smith here. On June 13th, the next day, hundreds of men begin to gather into Carthage to attack the saints and to kill Joseph Smith. Thomas Sharp will brag that he's responsible for bringing in 500 people to kill Joseph Smith. On June 18th, 1844, fearing outrage and attack on the outlying communities in Warsaw and Carthage, Joseph Smith, as mayor, activates the 4,000 troops of the Nauvoo Legion. We have 4,000 soldiers that we could go wreak havoc, but he activates them to defend the city, and he declares martial law in the city. Now you're Governor Ford. You're like, oh no, we are having Missouri reenacted in Illinois. What do I do? He writes to Joseph, and he says, Joseph, come to Carthage and submit to the charges that are levied against you. Joseph senses there's a deeper plot, that if he goes to Carthage, people are going to kill him. He decides he's not going to go to Carthage, and he decides to leave Nauvoo. Joseph, with Hiram and a few others, cross the Mississippi River. They're getting ready to head west to find a place for the saints to settle. I mean, Joseph is on his way. He could go west. He even tells Emma, like, I'll send message, I'll send word, take care as a whole. On the next day, June 23rd, when they hear that Joseph has left, friends and others send Joseph a letter, which is carried to him, fearing that Nauvoo, now that he's gone, is going to be attacked. And they accuse him, some accuse him of running away in a time of need, and that they need him there. They feel like he's abandoned them. Joseph says, when he hears this, if my life is of no value to my friends, it's of no value to myself. I'm not abandoning them. He feels like he's trying to help them, and that they won't attack the city, that they only want him. So he turns to Hiram and says, Hiram, well, what should we do? And I love this, by the way. Joseph says, Hiram, you're the oldest. What should we do? And Hiram says, let's go back and submit to the charges then. Joseph says to Hiram, if we go back, we'll be butchered. And Hiram says, Joseph, God's protected us until now. He'll protect us again. And Joseph says, not this time. That he was told that if he was ever taken by his enemies, that his life would not be spared anymore. Hiram turns to Joseph and says, let's go back and submit and see this thing through. I share that with you to understand that it was a voluntary, conscious understanding of Joseph, not only to submit to the charges, but knowing that his life would likely be taken by going back. When he gave up himself, when he came back, he stops in Nauvoo and he says to them, quote, if I do not go to Carthage, the result will be the destruction of this city and its inhabitants, and I cannot think of my dear brothers and sisters and their children suffering the scenes of Missouri again in Nauvoo. No, it's better for your brother Joseph to die for his brothers and sisters, for I am willing to die for them. My work is finished. On June 24th, 1844, that same day, Joseph meets with the Nauvoo Legion to have them return their state-issued guns under the direction of Governor Ford. The Nauvoo Legion reluctantly does so, and Joseph says when he departs, my friends, I love you too well to save my life at your expense. If I go not to them, they will come and act out the horrified Missouri scenes in Nauvoo. I may prevent it. I fear not death.